Have you ever just looked at the economy and felt completely lost? I mean, it feels like the price of everything, from houses to stocks, is just blasting off into space, while your salary is kind of stuck on the launch pad. If you've ever had that feeling like the fundamental rules of money have been rewritten behind your back, you are not alone. And in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly what's going on.
And really, this is the central question for all of us now, isn't it? Our entire economy is sitting in the middle of a massive, unprecedented flood of new money. And figuring out how to navigate this new world, well, that's going to determine everything.
Look, this isn't just a feeling you have. It's a real, measurable thing. And today, we're going to dig into the data and solve this mystery once and for all. We're going to find out exactly why this gap between the things you want to own and the money you earn keeps getting wider.
All right, so to really understand what's happening, we first have to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this money explosion. And let me warn you, the numbers are absolutely staggering.
Okay, so the main character in our story today is a little something called M2, or broad money. The easiest way to think about it is this. It's basically all the cash floating around, plus all the money that you can get to super easily. You know, the stuff in your savings or checking accounts. It's the best tool we've got for measuring the total amount of money that's sloshing around the entire economy.
So, just how much has this M2 money supply grown? Well, if we look at South Korea between 1986 and 2024, it multiplied by 84.5 times. No, that is not a typo. The total amount of money in the system grew by more than 84 times. Just let that sink in.
But here's where it gets really wild. Look at how fast this is happening now. Of that massive increase we just saw, a jaw-dropping 1,230 trillion won was created in just the last 5 years. Think about that. This isn't some slow drip anymore. This is a fire hose of new money being turned on full blast.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's a big number, but the economy grew too, right? So of course the money supply had to grow with it. And that's a perfectly logical thought. But this is where our story takes a really sharp and unexpected turn. Let's see what happens when we compare that money flood to the real economy. Just look at this table. Back in the year 2000, the amount of money, or M2, was pretty much in line with the size of the whole economy, or the GDP, just about 2% bigger. Made sense. But then, look what happens. By 2010, it's almost 19% larger. By 2020, nearly 50% larger. And by 2024, the total money supply is about 60% bigger than the entire economic output of the country. So here's the key takeaway. The amount of money has been growing way, way faster than the value of all the actual stuff we make and do.
And this, right here, is such a brilliant way to put it. Think of the real economy, all the goods and services as the body. And the money supply is its shadow. We are now living in a world where the shadow has grown to be gigantic, far bigger than the body that's casting it. So, the billion-dollar question, or I guess the trillion-dollar question, is where is all this money coming from? Is there someone at the central bank just hitting print over and over again? Well, not exactly. The real engine behind this explosion isn't a government printing press. It's something much closer to home.
To get it, you have to understand that the economic world has completely flipped on its head. Back in the 90s, things were different. The economy was growing fast. Interest rates were high, like over 10%. Back then, putting your money in a savings account actually made you richer. It was the smart thing to do. But today, we're in a low-growth world with rock-bottom interest rates. Now, saving money means you're actually losing ground. The new game is all about leverage, using borrowed money.
So here's how it actually works, in a nutshell. The central bank creates a little bit of what you could call seed money. But that's just the start. The real magic happens at commercial banks. They take that seed money and lend it out. Now, when you get a loan, that money doesn't just move from the bank's vault to your account. No, it's brand new money that gets created as a deposit. Then, the bank can lend that new money out again, and the process just keeps repeating, over and over, multiplying that original seed money by 14 or 15 times.
And this whole process, it's called credit creation. And it is the absolute main event. It's not a side story, it is the story. In fact, a whopping 80% of all the new M2 money isn't created by the government at all. It's created every single time a regular commercial bank issues a loan to a person or a company.
And this brings us to probably the single most important piece of the entire puzzle. Because when all this new money is created, it doesn't just magically appear in everyone's bank account at the same time. Nope, there's an order to it. And that order changes everything.
This phenomenon actually has a name. It's called the Cantillon effect. though our source material gives it a great simple name, the distance of money. And the idea is really simple. Whoever is closest to the money spigot, the people who get their hands on the new money first, get a massive advantage. They get to spend it before it starts pushing up prices for everybody else.
Let's just walk through it so it's crystal clear. Step 1. New money gets created through super low interest loans. So who gets first dibs on those loans? Well, it's the big corporations, the investors, the financial insiders. And what do? They take that brand new money and immediately go buy assets, stocks, bonds, real estate, while the prices are still at their old levels. By the time that money finally trickles all the way down to the rest of us in the form of a paycheck or a raise, the prices of all those assets have already been bid up. We get the new money last, but we face the higher prices first. This is the very reason for that gap you feel every single day.
And you know, this very dynamic, this feeling that the system is tilted, is a huge reason why we're seeing this explosion of interest in totally new kinds of financial systems. This quote from David Sachs really hits on that. The deep frustration with a system where new money benefits a select few first is pushing people to search for forms of money that nobody controls.
Okay, so we've gone through the how and the why. We've seen the money flood, and we know where it comes from, and we know who it benefits first. So now for the biggest question of all. What are the new rules for financial survival in this crazy environment?
So what does this all mean for us, really? Well, it means the rules of the game have fundamentally changed. That old rulebook that said just work hard and save your money, it's broken because that money is being constantly diluted. It means that asset prices aren't just about how well a company is doing anymore, they're floating on this huge ocean of money supply. And most importantly, it means understanding this distance of money concept isn't just some boring economic theory. It's become a critical skill for just making it in today's world.
And that brings us to our final thought for today. You know, for generations, the wisest financial advice was always to save for a rainy day. But what do you do when it's not raining anymore? What if you're in a permanent flood? Maybe, just maybe, the most important skill now isn't learning how to save, but learning how to build a surfboard to ride these waves of money instead of just getting swept away. What do you think?